Behind this door was where the gate used to be. And behind this door is where the murders took place. But you don't see that anymore. They moved the door of the entrance a few yards away. And now you have this door right here where the gate used to be. It's where the murders took place. The residents, they try to change it up over the years to make it look confusing because if you come here, you see the door and you think you see the other door and you think that's the entrance where everything happened. They even changed the number of the address. That way people get confused. Can't blame them. They probably get a lot of weirdos. A lot of horror fans, a lot of people like us trying to check it out. And then right now I'll show you the back alley where the killers entered through. And you'll see it that this alley right here, somebody strong had to jump that. Somebody that was athletic. Or a group of people. And then upstairs was where the kids were when the murders took place at the front of the house. Brentwood would never be the same. You can't think Brentwood without thinking about the murders. You can't think Brentwood without thinking about OJ. You can't think Brentwood without thinking about the trial of the century. Who killed Nicole Simpson Brown and Ronald Goldman? We all have our ideas. Let's get into the theories. The obvious, OJ Simpson, the football legend, movie star, and pop culture icon, the wife beater who threatened Nicole several times over the years, leading up to 1994. Nicole would call the police, and every time they would show up, nothing would get resolved. OJ would not get arrested, and Nicole wouldn't press charges, except for that one time in 1989. On December 31st, 1989, Nicole phoned the police, stating that she thought Simpson was going to kill her. She was found by officers hiding in the bushes outside their home, badly beaten and half naked. Authorities said that Simpson had punched, slapped, and kicked her. Nicole's parents forced her to drop the charges and try to get back together with him, especially since OJ was supporting the family's lifestyle in Orange County. On February 25th, 1992, Nicole filed for divorce. She was already living a few streets away from him, but the following year, she tried to reconcile with OJ. Nicole Simpson dialed 911 in October of 1993 and told the dispatcher that her ex-husband had broken into her home. He wouldn't leave the property, she explained. He's ranting and raving outside in the front yard. The dispatcher wanted to know whether the man had been drinking. Nicole said no, but he's crazy. There was no doubt that Nicole was scared for her life several times leading to her final years. Nicole said that even though she was trying to make it work with OJ in 1993, she was scared of him because she was getting stalked by him. He was at the gas station, she was saying. He would appear anywhere she was hanging out with her friends. Nicole Brown met 25-year-old restaurant waiter Ron Goldman 6 weeks prior to their murders. According to police and friends, they had a platonic relationship, occasionally meeting for coffee and dinner. According to some other people, it was more than platonic. But we'll leave that to speculation, I guess. On June 12, 1994, was the night that Brown and Goldman were stabbed to death outside her home. Their bodies were found shortly after midnight. Nicole was lying in the fetal position in a pool of blood, and an autopsy determined that she had been stabbed 7 times in the neck and scalp, and she had sustained a 14-centimeter long gash across her throat, which had severed both her left and right arteries. It was so bad, the cut on her neck, that she was nearly decapitated. She also had defensive wounds on her hands. Ron Goldman also had defensive wounds in his hands, arms, and he was stabbed a bunch of times as well. Ron Goldman was a model and an aspiring actor who had planned on opening his own restaurant or bar in the future. It seems like maybe there was a struggle when OJ was allegedly attacking Nicole Simpson, and Ron Goldman stepped in. Or the other speculation was that Ron saw Nicole get murdered and he was trying to defend himself. Here we go with the evidence that it was OJ. First, the bloody glove that was found outside of Nicole's condo had Nicole's blood and Ron's blood. The other glove found outside OJ's house in the yard had the same blood. Should have been a no-brainer. But then we have Officer Furham, who was the one who found the glove at OJ's place. The same cop who was a racist and lied under oath. Was this planned for OJ's takedown? And you gotta consider, the glove, when it was tried in trial, did not fit. Cochran famously said, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. According to the testimony of Cochran's right-hand man, they told OJ not to take his arthritis medicine for 2 weeks, so his hands would get swollen. It also didn't help the prosecuting team when the gloves were already shrunk, due to the fact that the police department had to keep it dry to use it for evidence. How about Nicole and Ron's blood found inside the Bronco, and the door handle of the Bronco? How do you explain that? More planning by the racist Officer Furham? And why was OJ leaving that night to Chicago? Or the fact that he had claimed to cut himself that night in Chicago, the same night as the murders? How about the blood found in his clothing at his house? Maybe OJ was covering up for somebody. And this is where we jump into the second theory. OJ had a son from his first marriage, Jason Simpson, who was suffering from something called intermittent explosive disorder. I know some people might speculate that this is a bullshit theory, but just hear me out a little bit. Intermittent explosive disorder is repeated sudden bouts of impulsive or violent behavior. Somebody could just snap and get aggressive. Is this what could have led to the murders? Jason Simpson was accused of trying to stab one of his co-workers a few years before. December 1992, Jason was arrested for attacking his then employer with a knife. According to UPI, court documents show that Jason assaulted restaurant owner Paul Goldberg. Not only did Jason threaten him with a knife, he hit him using his hand and feet as well. Jason was then charged with 3 felony counts of assault and battery, but pleaded guilty to a reduced misdemeanor charge of disturbing the peace. He received 2 years probation and 10 days of community service. He had a storage that he didn't pay for a while, and all the things were taken eventually. According to former detective Deere, who wrote a book on Jason being the killer back, I believe, in 2011, he said there were several boxes inside the storage, diaries, and a knife, as well as a picture of Jason wearing a Nick cap, similar to the one authorities found at the crime scene. In these pictures, Jason is next to his dog. The Nick cap at the scene had traces of human and canine blood, but was never tested for DNA. Deere says the police have no interest in testing the cap now. The knife found in the storage was the same type of knife used in the murders, even though a weapon was never recovered. Jason had also allegedly physically assaulted 2 of his ex-girlfriends. He grabbed me and pinned me down on the bathroom floor. Then he grabbed for my braids. He started whacking off my hair with his chef's knife, says one of the women in the book. That same woman told Deere that 2 months before the murders, Jason told her he was no longer taking his medication. Apparently this messed with his head. Deere thinks that Simpson took the blame for his son and spent decades covering up for him. Jason wrote in his diary in 1994, which was the year of the murders, "A knife cuts away the parts of something not needed. This is the year of the knife for me." If Jason wasn't guilty, why did OJ hire a defense team for Jason after the murders? Jason was never questioned by the police and was never ruled a suspect. What would be his motive? The fact that Nicole didn't show up to the restaurant where he was a chef at for that family dinner that one time? Did Jason kill Nicole and Ron? Did OJ take the fall for his son? Or maybe the third theory or speculation. Do you think OJ and Jason committed the murders together? Would it have taken two people to commit the murders?